Being honest may not get you a lot of friends, but it'll always get you the right ones. Every second you spend comparing your life to someone else's is a second spent wasting yours.
Come on in, let's talk about it. Come on in, let's talk about it. Make it make sense.
Welcome to this deep dive. Today we're looking at a really interesting collection of observations you share, just short, sharp thoughts on life, relationships, growth, kind of navigating the world, really.
Yeah, exactly.
And for you, the learner, listening in, someone who wants to get the good stuff quickly but still properly understand it, our mission here is to sort of unpack these ideas, find the real core meaning, and hopefully give you a few of those aha moments without making it feel like homework.
Right. It's a great set of perspectives, quite concise. And we want to go a bit deeper than just reading them out. Look at what's really going on underneath, maybe how they connect to, well, everyday life.
Okay, sounds good. So where should we start? There seems to be a strong theme around self-awareness, self-reliance, like this one. Don't worry about what other people are thinking about you because everyone is only thinking about themselves. Pretty blunt.
It is blunt, yeah. But there's a core truth there, neurologically even. We often overestimate how much others are watching. A psychologists call it the spotlight effect.
Oh, right. Like you think everyone noticed you tripped, but they didn't.
Exactly. Most people are just wrapped up in their own thoughts, their own worries. Understanding that, really understanding it can be, well, freeing. Takes the pressure off,
Yeah, it does. Like we're all the main character in our own show.
Pretty much.
Which kind of leads to this next one. Learn to be content and happy by yourself. If you need a company to be happy, then it will make you weak. Now that feels a bit counterintuitive sometimes, doesn't it? We're always told connection is key.
It is key. Connection absolutely matters. But I think the point here isn't about being isolated. It's about building a solid internal foundation.
Okay, so not needing others for your basic happiness.
Precisely. If your whole sense of well-being depends on someone else being there or validating you, you're kind of fragile, right? Life changes, people change. But if you can find contentment just within yourself, that actually makes your relationship stronger. You're connecting from a place of wholeness, not neediness.
Okay, I get that. Being an anchor, not a kite needing wind.
Good analogy.
Yeah.
So speaking of change, let's shift to relationships. There are a few points here that touch on that. Like simply, people change.
A fundamental truth.
And even this one, which is a bit tough, even your best friends can turn into strangers one day. Yeah, that one stings a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it reflects reality. People grow, their paths diverge, values shift. It's painful sometimes, but expecting everything and everyone to stay exactly the same, that's kind of setting yourself up for disappointment.
True. So acknowledging change helps maybe navigate it better, even the hard stuff.
I think so. It lets you appreciate connections for what they are right now and maybe handle those transitions with a bit more understanding.
And then there's this really direct piece of advice. Don't make someone a priority who only makes you an option. That's just clear boundary setting.
It is. It really boils down to self-respect, doesn't it? And reciprocity. Healthy relationships need that give and take. If it's consistently one-sided, if the investment isn't mutual, that's a signal. It tells you something about how the connection is valued or not valued. Protecting your own energy, your well-being, means recognizing that and, well, adjusting.
Pulling back a bit, maybe. Makes sense. Okay, let's talk mindset. There are some really powerful statements here, like, every second you spend comparing your life to someone else's is a second spent wasting yours.
Oh, yeah, that one hits hard, especially now with social media.
Right, it's constant. Why is comparison so, toxic?
Well, fundamentally, it usually comes from a place of insecurity, right? You're looking outward instead of inward. You're measuring yourself against someone else's highlight reel, using their metrics, not your own values or your own progress.
And there's always someone seemingly doing better.
Always. It's an endless, dissatisfying loop. The real win is shifting focus back to your own path, your own goals, your own definition of success. That's where fulfillment actually lies.
And that connects to this other big idea. The life you experience is simply a reflection of your mindset. Whoa, that's putting a lot of power in our hands.
It is, isn't it? But think about it. Our mindset is like the filter, the lens for everything.
How does that work practically, though?
Well, take cognitive reframing. That's basically changing how you think about something to change how you feel about it. Your beliefs, your attitude, they shape what you even notice, how you react, what actions you take. So in a very real way, you are shaping your own reality through that mindset.
Okay, okay. Lots to chew on there. Let's move to responsibility and learning. I like this one. Take your responsibilities seriously, but not yourself. What's the wisdom in that distinction?
It's about finding that balance, I think. Be accountable, do what you need to do, fulfill your obligations, but don't let your ego get massively inflated.
So, diligence without the self-importance.
Yeah, exactly. It allows you to be committed, but also, less defensive. You can take feedback better. You don't take everything personally. It's humility, focusing on the task, not just your image.
I like that. And this other one offers a kinder look at messing up. Good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from bad judgment. It sort of reframes failure.
Totally. It normalizes mistakes, doesn't it?
Mm.
Sees them as part of the process, not the end of the line. It's pure growth mindset. Bad judgment isn't failure, it's data. Information you use to make better calls next time.
Data, yeah. Okay, let's talk truth and communication. Being honest may not get you a lot of friends, but it'll always get you the right ones. What's that saying about real connection?
It's saying authentic relationships need a foundation of trust, real honesty.
Even if it's uncomfortable sometimes.
Especially then, maybe. Sure, being bluntly honest might push some superficial connections away, but it attracts people who value integrity, who want something real. And that leads to deeper, more solid bonds in the long run.
The right ones, yeah. And then, very practically, not everything in your brain needs to come out of your mouth. I think we've all learned that the hard way sometimes.
Have we just? It's just basic wisdom, isn't it? Think before you speak. Consider the impact. Choose your battles. Sometimes silence or just a more measured response is the way to go. Self-regulation.
Definitely. Okay, moving into challenges. This is interesting. Fear is not there to stop you. It's there to show you that you're interested and you care. That's a heck of a reframe.
It really is powerful. Instead of seeing fear purely as a negative, a stop sign, view it as a signal
A signal of what?
that something matters to you, that you're invested in the outcome, that there's something significant at stake. If you can see it that way, fear becomes less of an obstacle, more like a compass pointing towards what you value. It can actually motivate you towards the challenge.
Oh, okay. That's a different way to look at it. And this one's more of a comfort, maybe.
Tough times teach us that our resilience is stronger than we ever imagined.
Yeah, it's a reminder of that, human capacity to endure and adapt. We often don't know how strong we are until we're tested. It's in those really hard moments that we discover reserves we didn't even know we had. True. We survive things we thought we couldn't.
Exactly.
All right, let's look at time, choices, growth. A strong sense of control here. All you have power and influence over is what you decide to do with the time that you are given today.
Yeah, that really pulls the focus right back to the present moment, doesn't it?
And it does.
It's about putting your energy where it counts, your actions, your choices right now. Not getting lost in worrying about the past you can't change or a future you can't fully predict. Focus on the now.
And directly linked to that. Your life is the result of the choices you make. That's pretty stark. Heavy on the personal responsibility.
It is. It really underlines that you're the main architect. Sure, external stuff happens, circumstances play a part, absolutely. But ultimately, the shape of your life comes down to the sum of your choices, big and small over time.
Right. Okay, last big themes. Happiness and purpose. Don't look for happiness, it's always inside you. That shifts the game, doesn't it? From chasing external things.
Completely. It suggests happiness isn't a prize you win or a destination you arrive at after getting the right job or relationship or whatever.
So it's more of a state of being.
Exactly. Something you cultivate internally through things like gratitude, mindfulness, self-compassion. It's accessible now, regardless of what's happening out there.
And related to that, you don't find your purpose somewhere else. You create your purpose exactly where you are. That feels very active, very empowering.
It is. It takes purpose off some distant pedestal, like it's this magical thing you have to find. Instead, it says, no, you build it. You define it through your actions, your intentions, how you engage with your life right now, the people around you right now.
Create it, not find it. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so beyond those big themes, there were some really specific, almost quirky insights that stood out. You mentioned the idea that needing company for happiness could be a weakness.
Right, which comes back to that idea of internal contentment. Building that inner anchor first makes connection a choice, not a desperate need.
Gotcha. And the difference between sharing progress versus sharing goals.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Some studies suggest sharing progress can boost motivation.
Mm-hmm.
You get positive feedback, reinforcement.
Mm-hmm.
But announcing your goals too early, sometimes that gives you a little dopamine hit, a sense of accomplishment before you've done the work, which can actually, weirdly, reduce your drive to follow through.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. And we talked about fear indicating interest and care.
Yeah, that reframing again, seeing it as a signpost towards what's important to you rather than just something to avoid, powerful for growth.
And the warning about putting people on pedestals.
This leads to disappointment, right? It's unrealistic. Everyone's human. Everyone has flaws. Recognizing that is healthier.
Definitely. What about the advice for anger? Will I remember this in 10 years?
Mm. Yeah, that's a great little reality check, isn't it? Quick filter. Like, is this really worth getting massively worked up about in the grand scheme of things? Helps regulate that emotional response.
Good one. And the difference between missing someone and actually needing them back?
Crucial after breakups, or any ending, really. You can acknowledge the good memories, the positive aspects, even feel the loss. Without concluding, you need to recreate that specific past situation. It allows for closure.
Yeah, that's nuanced. And how partnership priorities shift from looks to values.
Often a sign of maturity, isn't it? More life experience tends to show you what really sustains a relationship long term. Shared values, mutual respect that goes deeper than initial attraction.
Too. Then there was that concept of living multiple lives within one life.
I love that one. It captures how much we can change and evolve. Big life shifts, career changes, moving, relationships ending or beginning. They can feel like entering a whole new chapter, a different life almost, within your single lifespan.
Yeah, I could see that. And the idea that action comes before clarity.
Sometimes you just have to start moving, right? Even small steps. Waiting for perfect clarity before doing anything can lead to just waiting forever.
Action generates its own insight.
Get out of your head and do something.
Basically, yeah.
What about owing everything to your present self, not your younger self? That's about self-compassion, I think. Letting go of past regrets or feeling bound by who you used to be. Focus on who you are now, your current needs, your growth now.
Okay. And the observation that constantly emphasizing I'm telling the truth can be a red flag.
Yeah, it can sometimes feel a bit performative. Like maybe they're overcompensating because they're not being entirely truthful. Actions often speak louder.
Interesting. And the analogy about going back to an ex being like showering and putting on dirty underwear.
Slight chuckle. Memorable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Visceral. Gets the point across pretty effectively why return to something that clearly wasn't working and won't feel right.
Yeah, definitely sticks with you. Balancing an open mind with scientific thinking. Think, fail, learn.
That's about being receptive to new stuff, but also critical. Use evidence, learn from experiments. Don't just accept everything. It's that iterative process of learning.
And we touched on creating purpose, not finding it.
Yep, taking that active role in defining your own meaning.
And happiness being a way of being, not a goal.
Right, cultivating it in the present.
Or dropping the ego for a better life.
Reduces defensiveness, improves connections, gives a more realistic self-view. Key step.
And the difference between not forgetting bad things, but ceasing to care intensely about them.
Healthy processing. Right.
Yeah.
Acknowledge the past, learn from it, but don't let it keep hurting you in the present. Release the emotional charge.
Okay. The idea of the world might be telling you who you are if you listen.
That encourages looking deeper, doesn't it? Paying attention to patterns, feedback, your own reactions. They might hold clues about your authentic self, your path. Introspection.
Comforting thought. Bad days contribute to better days.
Perspective, again. Challenges aren't just obstacles. They're often the foundation for future growth, learning, appreciation. They build resilience for the better days.
You're stronger than you think because you survived past difficulties.
It's a straight-up reminder of your own track record. You've handled hard things before. You have that inherent strength. Trust that.
Caution. Not everyone has true intentions.
Basic discernment, isn't it? Healthy skepticism. Watch actions, not just words. Protect yourself.
The days you least want to do something are often the most crucial.
Oh, yeah. Pushing through that inertia, whether it's for work, exercise, or even just self-care on a tough day, that's often where real progress happens or resilience is built.
Focus on what you can control. Feelings, actions, thoughts, not trying to change others.
That's fundamental. Trying to control others is just frustrating and futile. Focus your energy inward, on your own sphere of influence. Huge for personal agency.
Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional.
Classic distinction. Pain happens. But how we frame it, how we react, whether we get stuck in negative thought loops that determines if it turns into prolonged suffering. Mindset again.
Trust yourself based on past survival.
Yeah, reinforcing that self-belief. Your history proves you can navigate difficulty.
Change as an invitation to live, not a threat.
A positive reframe. Seeing change not as scary, but as an opportunity for new experiences, growth, adaptation, more life, basically.
Equal effort for misery and strength suggests a choice.
It does imply that. Where are you putting your mental energy? Focusing on the negative takes effort, just like focusing on strength or solutions does. It suggests we have some conscious choice in our default state.
Happiness is the way, not the result.
Finding joy in the journey, in the process, in the present moment, not just pinning all hopes on some future outcome.
And finally, your future is your past that you understand.
That suggests that really processing, learning from, and integrating your past experiences is what gives you the wisdom and clarity to navigate your future effectively. Understanding the past illuminates the path forward.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, it's clear, isn't it, for you, the learner, that these insights, they kind of weave together. There are these recurring threads, like the power of knowing yourself, validating yourself from the inside.
Yeah, definitely. And how relationships are fluid, needing that mindful approach.
Right. And how much our perspective really does shape everything. Plus, the need to actually embrace change, take responsibility, that seems key for growth, for well-being.
Absolutely. These aren't just random bits of advice. They feel like they build on each other, offering a pretty practical toolkit almost for living a bit more intentionally, more resiliently.
A toolkit, yeah.
Yeah.
It encourages being proactive, doesn't it?
It really does.
Okay, so with all that in mind, here's maybe one last thing to mull over. We touched on that idea that you don't only live once, you live multiple lives within one life. Think about that for a second. What were those past lives for you? Different phases, different versions of yourself. How did they shape who you are right now?
And looking forward.
Exactly. What future lives might you be stepping into or even consciously creating with the choices you're making today? Maybe think about how some of the ideas we've dug into here could be your compass through those transitions.
A powerful thought to end on.
Well, thanks for diving deep with us today.